Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you very much for joining us on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening, wherever in the world you are. My name is Brad, and I will be your commentator for the Tier 2 race of Celerity eSports this afternoon. We are racing in Brazil, round 16, one of the final rounds for these boys in Tier 2 after the end of a long season. And we're going to go for qualifying. One of the shorter tracks, but one of the faster tracks for these guys. I'm looking forward to some fast racing, and I'm looking forward to some good overtakes. We have three, I believe, different drivers with us this evening. Let me just check these guys out. This guy, BNLRE. I'm going to have to think of a shorter name for that. This guy's a new driver to us. Welcome. Thank you for joining us in the Red Bull there. We also have Martin there in the Racing Point, is a reserve driver. And finally we have Plankton in the McLaren, also a reserve driver. The rest of these boys are regulars. They know the score. There's a lot to play for. Great, fast flowing circuit this. One of my personal favourites. I've just had confirmation from Dylan, leader of Celerity eSports, that we've got the possibility of rain halfway through this race. Light rain. That could make it extremely interesting. Very likely to rain in Brazil. Very likely. It can always throw up a safety car, can always throw in interchangeable conditions. Great track if you're flat out, dry. No better track in my opinion to do a good time trial lap at. But putting rain in the situation, totally different story. Tough on the curbs and tough on traction. Let's take a look who's firstest to go out here. I think Roy Boy's our first lap, unless I'm very much mistaken. Roy Boy goes on the soft tyre. Pretty even split here, I've noticed. About 50-50 of medium tyres and soft tyres for the drivers. Really short track. A lap time on average of about 1:06. Late 1:06s. Early 1:07s, maybe. I don't think for the Tier 2 boys, but it's all about grid position here. It's not the easiest track to overtake at, so yeah, the strategy here is normally soft medium is doable. It's a little bit more risky. You push your tyres harder. Soft hard is the safe option, but personally I think soft medium the quickest. We see the early banker laps here. Mateo goes in with a 1:07.8, quickly beat by Lupotic with a 1:07.4. I think these are just banker laps, not quick laps just yet for these guys. Lap record here from Season 1 was a 1:06.7 dead, so we've got quite a long way to go before these guys reach this time. Quite a long way to go. Got a yellow flag there from Billy. I think he's just getting out of the way of the other drivers there as he starts his hot lap, I believe, just coming off an out lap. Going to ride on board with Milo as he starts his hot lap here. Second DRS sector here. Late braking zone. Look out for that 15 metre marker board. Oh, really tough for track limits there. Really tough on curbs on lap 4. Really tough to get that right. If you touch that left curb too hard on the inside, you're going to get a massive snap of oversteer like I found out in my race yesterday. Go too wide, track limits. Unlucky. Where Traz is going to set a lap here. Soft tyres, fastest compound of the race. He goes P1, 106.8. Nice lap, mate. Very nice lap. Pulls to one side for safety, but that's a pretty good lap. Pretty good lap. He's 2/10 away from the, 1/10 away from the lap record. So that is a good lap. And his teammate, the other Mercedes, Kyle, smashes it within a number of seconds, I'm afraid. He goes a 106.733. That's 3/100ths away from the lap record here for the T2 guys. That's a great lap for Kyle. Really good lap. I think Dylan is just warming up for his hot lap here. Interestingly gone for the mediums. With the report of rain, light rain here for midway through the race, I'm wondering if a few of these boys are going to go mediums, try and go as far as they can, see where the rain comes. Could be some interesting strategy calls here. Normal strategy, of course, to go for the soft mediums or medium softs. Don't know how strong the rain is predicted for this race, so this could throw up some really different results. Johan Race 82 peels into the pits, wasn't happy with that lap. And Lupatic, again he's starting a hot lap here. Let's ride on board with Lupatic for a little while. Renault gets out of the way there. Ooh, and I think he threw that wide. Was that track limits? Yeah, I think he's backed out of that. It's unlucky. Really tough for track limits on this track. Really tough. Sector 1. Sector 1 is the only tough bit in my opinion. Turn 1, Turn 2, Turn 3, Turn 4. After that, pretty straightforward. That middle sector there that you see sweeping that Lupatic's in right now, fairly straightforward for these drivers. These guys are professionals. But that first sector is a killer. Easy to destroy your hot lap, easy to get a time penalty, and that's something that all the drivers will be aware of. Martin here, our reserve driver, just coming across. He's quite low down the field here. I think he's going to make a big improvement on his lap time. Big improvement. He goes a 107.3. That's good enough for third. Great effort from the Racing Point. Great effort from a reserve driver. Well done. Dylan's coming across now. He's going to back away into the pits. He's backed out of that one. Notice a lot of these boys are doing multiple laps on the same tyre, which is very possible here. Tyre wear is quite low in qualifying. So, and fuel consumption also is quite low. So the possibility of going out on your softs or your mediums, doing 1 out lap, 2 out laps, and then a fast lap to wear out your fuel is very possible here. I did the same for tier 3 and did 2 out laps on the softs, and it worked for me as Billy comes across the line with a great lap, 106.7. Obviously our championship winner there, Billy, congratulations to him. Title is already in the bag for him with 192 points. Great season for him. He's 63 points of P2, and that's a great end to the season if he can bank that for a front row on the grid. Now let's take a look. Who's on a lap here? Lopetegui about to start his hot lap. Milo again looks like he's having an in lap. He's had a really slow lap here. No time. The only driver not to set a time yet, down in P14 there. And he's going slow. I think he's going to peel into the pits. Interesting. No time set yet. Close at the top there, you notice. So right now if we look at P1 to P4, Kyle down to Plankton, it's 1/10 of a second separating the top four. Great to see these guys racing so close, so fast together. Such a short track. Again, a 106. A tiny improvements means so much time here. And a 10th is a lifetime on this track. It's the big difference. Right now a 10th is the difference between P4 and P1. And I'm not sure what the Red Bull is doing here. Is he getting out of the way? These guys are both boxing. Hopefully no harm done between Plankton and BN LRE. We got still on a lap. That's Kyle about to come over, our current pole sitter from a 106. Oh, wow! He smashes his time of 107.33 and goes a 106.462. Awesome lap. Currently, Kyle, our guy down in P7 in the standings, he sets an unbelievable lap record. He smashes the tier 2 lap record by almost 3/10. Brilliant lap. Well done, mate. Dylan again bails out of his lap. He must be very happy with those mediums. Is he going to come in a box for some softs? I'm not so sure yet. Who do we have out on a lap here? The Mercedes boys both set their laps. Well done. We've got Martin, reserve driver for this evening. Next driver to going to cross a line. He's 2/10 down just in that middle sector. Sorry, 200ths down in that middle sector. And I think he's backed away. He's 1.3 seconds off, so I think he's going to box now. We still have Milo. Back of the grid right now in P14. No time set. I'm not sure if he's struggling with track limits. I've not been following his laps that closely, but he's about to start a new lap here. Fresh set of soft tyres. Takes a very wide line. Let's watch his first sector. Toughest area with track limits. Swing it around right here. Ooh, that was close, but I think he's kept it within track limits. Well done. Keep it tight there. DRS open. He's got Dylan in front of him, who should let him past. Well done. Swing it into turn 4 there. Ooh, and I think he's just hit the track limits there. That's so unlucky. And I think that's going to be Milo's last attempt at a lap. Unless he saves some tyre life, unless he saves some fuel. If he sticks in lean right now, he can get around again. He's got time. It's not the end of the world if you do 2 laps on these tyres. So hopefully we're going to see him set a time here. I don't want to see him down there in P14 just because of track limits. That's watch if he can set another lap here. He's going to be the first guy. Yeah, I think he's going to go for another lap here. Yeah. Good man. Dylan's coming up next. Next driver's going to be crossing the line. He does go for a set of softs. He's not happy with P10. Maybe he's not happy with those mediums either. I'm going to watch Milo in Sector 1. I'm hoping he can do a better job here with the track limits. Yes, good lad. Well done. And let him carry on that lap. I'm going to watch the racing points, sorry. Those boys stay where they are, P7, P8. Good qualifying as a team there. Billy crosses the line to start his next lap. He's just made that with a few seconds to spare. Both Mercedes out on an extra lap as well. Plankton just starting an extra lap, so everybody's out for a last minute dash. Everybody's out for a last minute dash here. This could be a big rush for Poland for some positions. Milo comes in to complete his lap, but I think he invalidated that. Oh, he did. Unlucky man. He did, so Milo definitely starts P14. Dylan decides to abandon his lap. Does not go for another one, so Dylan starts P10 there so far. Lupatic decides to retire. Martin is going to come across the line next. I think he's invalidated his lap, so that's not going to go any better for him. Billy will be the next. The Ferrari man. He stays out. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. 106.7. Good effort. Kyle and his teammate Wetraz cross the line. Stay where they are. Plankton. Oh, Plankton improves. Good man. Into P3 there, 106.7. He splits the Mercs even further apart. Well done for a last minute dash. Great from a reserve driver for P3. Milo sets a time. Well done. My fault. I didn't realise he crossed the line in time there, and he is our last driver to cross the line. Well done. Milo gets himself into P13. Mate, well done. Glad he carried on doing his laps there. He obviously struggled with track limits, but that was a pleasure to see him carry on the lap there. ERS down on 6%, so he absolutely rode that ERS right till the end. Good effort, boys. And that is your grid, ladies and gentlemen, for round 16 of Brazil. We've got Kyle in P1 with a lap record for Tier 2 of a 106.426. Billy down in P2, great result for him, and our championship winner already. Plankton, reserve driver in P3. Wetraz in the Mercedes in P4. Nabisk Williams in P5. BNLRE, I need a shorter way to say that, in P6. Lupatic P7, Royboy P8, Martin P9, P10 is Kelstoag. Dylan is down in P11 on the medium tyres. Apologies, guys. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Dylan on the medium tyres in P11, Matteo P12, Milo P13, and P14 was Johan. Everybody up until P7, so P1 to P7 on the soft tyres. Lupatic in P7 on the soft tyres. Roy Boy starts in P8 with the mediums, so he's got some strategy options there. Also Kelstoag in P10, Dylan P11, Matteo P12, and Johan Race in P14. All those guys start on the mediums. I think we're due some rain this race, so this could throw in some interesting strategy options. Just to point out here, while we're waiting for the boys to line up on the grid and get started here, very close battle for the Constructors' Championship here. Very close. We've got Haas leading the Constructors right now on 230 points. Behind them by one single point are the Ferrari boys, Scuderia Ferrari, on 229 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, if the Ferrari boys outscore Haas by just 2 points today, they have a chance at the Constructors. It is worth pointing out at this point that we have one more race to run for the Tier 2 boys. They will re-race a Mexico race, I believe, next week. We had to abandon and rearrange a Mexico race a little bit earlier on in the season, so they will have one more race, but still good to see two Constructors after 15 races separated by 1 point. That's awesome. I've got to enable everybody's tyres and their interval. There is the strategy on your screen right now. So Codemasters predict that you should lap 13 for the hards if you're on the softs. In my opinion, the weather's going to come into play here. The best strategy, in my opinion, against Codemasters is the soft to mediums or medium to softs, just a one-stop. Hard is a very safe option, but not the fastest. But let's see what the weather does for these boys. The drivers take a line up on the grid. Kyle takes his spot in P1. We're waiting for lights out on our screen. And we're lights out. Away we go. Kyle gets a pretty decent start there. Really good start. But I think that's Roy Boy, who seems to be ghosting. I'm sorry, Billy. I'm not sure what happened there. He ghosted for a while. Apologies. The standings are all over the place on my screen. I'm not sure what's happening with the standings, but Billy takes the lead there down into P3. Kyle gives him room, lets him go. Great move by Billy to get into P1 there. Plankton still holding back P3 there. See here, Williams going wide, struggling for position there. Great start. I think everybody's through. I think damage free. Great job by Billy to get in the lead there. We have Matteo down in P7, who's made up 5 places already. Awesome job by the Renault there. No DRS, of course, enabled for the first couple of laps. Wetras has a little look on the Williams there. And he sticks exactly where he is. No DRS enabled until lap 3, of course, here, ladies and gentlemen. These boys have got to manage their fuel well, manage their ERS well, until that DRS kicks in. And I'm not sure, apologies, I've just seen, not sure what happened at the back here with the Red Bull of BNLRE, our reserve driver, sorry, our new driver for this league tonight, and the Haas of Kelstreg. Not sure what happened with those boys, apologies. Up in the league here, Bailey has a strong lead and he sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Already pulled up a gap of 7/10 without DRS, so really strong start from him. Wetras in the Mercedes here really wants to go at this Williams. DRS enabled on this lap, of course, so he's going to start to have benefit of that. 2 DRS zones here, one on the main straight and then one on sector 1 that we've just seen there. And the Mercedes there all over the back of that Williams. But you see here, the challenge of this track, so short of a circuit. You've got to be in a position where you can attack, but also a position where you've got to defend behind you. Plankton seems to be dropping a little bit back from these two in the top 2 positions here. Goes a little bit wide there. Got to be careful with track limits in that first sector here. Take it easy, it's a long race, 36 laps. Don't get too excited. And you can see that within 3/10 here, Wetras in the Mercedes, he really wants to overtake that Williams. He's got great pace here. Just got to stay close to him on this final corner now, going onto the main straight. He'll get the benefit of the DRS. He's looking after his ERS better than the Williams here, but again, we're in a bit of a DRS train. This is the challenge of this track. Lupatic has a nice DRS here on Matteo, but Dylan wants to have a bite at him on those softs. He backs off, he saves it for another day. And you've just got to wait your turn through sector 2. Be patient. Oh. And the Williams all over the back of Plankton here. This is what I was talking about. Apologies if I'm saying this wrong. Nabilsk, I think I'm sorry if that's wrong, but Nabilsk, the Williams there, he's all over the back of Plankton. He's caught him in time. He's got to get the DRS on him. He's got to get this overtake done because Wetras in the Mercedes is all over the back of these two. He wants that overtake to be done. And I think, is he going to get this done? Oh, he backs away, Oh, and he loses a bit of pace there, decides to go around the outside instead, switches to the inside for turn 2. Oh, and he backs off and he's lost so much time to the Mercedes behind him, who's going to have such a better run here. Oh, and the Williams goes for the overtake there. Oh, nice clean overtake there on Plankton, who seems to just not have the pace yet. Great overtake from the Williams there. He's got a bit of breathing room now from that Mercedes, But the Mercedes of Wetraz is going to want to get that move done, because guess what? He's got a car all over his back end. Roy Boy on the mediums, who's going to want to make this strategy work, is on the back of this fight. So I think the Williams here, Nabilski's, he's going to get away here. Plankton is the cork in the bottle. So here comes Wetraz with his DRS here. He's saved up his ERS. Great saving of ERS here. And they stick where they are. Who's going to get the better exit round turn 1 and 2? I think Roy Boy's got a really good run on Wetraz here, and the Renault behind. Wetraz goes for a move around the outside, around... Oh, he can't make it stick. He goes wide. Roy Boy smells that and he takes advantage. Roy Boy uses it and he gets a great move on Wetraz. Really good move. Mercedes is lost out there, I'm afraid. Dylan in P9 here, same situation. He's got a bit of a DRS train going on. I'm a bit worried. Did I see rain then? I do see rain. It is raining. So this strategy could completely change here. Dylan, that started down in P11's made up 2 places so far. He's got a great move on the racing point of Lupatic. I don't think he's got enough room there to make an overtake. No, unlucky. Now, this is where it gets interesting with strategy. How hard is it raining? And when do these boys pit, if at all? Ah, Roy Boy just hits the back there of Plankton. Unlucky, he ran out of room. And as we see right now, these boys here, what do we have? So, I think Plankton down to Dylan. So P4 down to P9. This is an absolute DRS train. Wow, Matteo in the Renault there goes really wide, knocks out one of the marker boards. He has a spin. I think the rain is getting worse here. These boys are going 4 wide into the last corner on the DRS straight. Wow. Dylan goes for the inside line there on Lupatic. Oh, very clean, very nice. Lupatic goes wide. Lupatic spins. Oh, and he's spun, and we've got a yellow flag for that. He comes off, and he comes out the worst from that. I hope that wasn't contact. I think that was just slipping on the curb. We'll have to check that later. But wow, that battle was getting close, and it got too close to call. Let's go back to it now. So Plankton, still the cork in the bottle of this train. Okay, like we predicted, the Williams of Nabilsk, he's gone far ahead. He's joining the leaders right now. He's catching up of P1, P2, P3. These guys are separated very closely. Plankton behind in P4. He is keeping these boys behind him. He's doing a great job of defending. But they want it. And the rain seems to be getting harder here. It seems to be raining really hard now. Not hard enough for inters, but hard enough to make you think about it. Oh, Roy Boy just touches the back of Plankton there. I think Roy Boy's going to want to get this move done right now. He does. He goes on the outside. Very clean late. Nice move. Finally gets that done. And Plankton can just sit and watch. And I think Roy Boy's going to try and get away. He might have a bit more grip on those mediums. I'm not too sure in this weather though. As we join up front, these boys now up front separated so closely on track. Billy leads, of course, still, as he has done from lap 1, but he's 4 tenths, now 3 tenths behind him of Kyle, and I think Kyle's going to challenge for the lead here. Kyle's going to go around the outside. He's got DRS, he's going to brake harder. No, he just backs away a little bit. He goes for a better run into turn 1 and turn 2. Do we still have DRS enabled? Yes, we do, so it's still dry enough to have DRS enabled. He's got a good run on Billy here for the lead, but no, it's not fast enough. Billy managing his ERS so well. 60% left of ERS compared to 20% of Kyle, who's not been managing it quite as well. And wow, just as we join in there, wow, Dylan goes for an inside move on Wetraz. And Dylan really making moves here. As I think we're going into turn 10 here. This is where you start to wind up your attacking move. This is where you turn up your fuel. You get ready for the final corner of turn 12 and 13. Takes a wide line there to go for Plankton. Plenty of overtake here. He's going to have DRS on Plankton. And he goes for a move on the outside into turn 1. Plankton gives him space, gives him a little squeeze. It's not going to let him get away easy, but no, that's the move done. Good move. And he's going to have DRS again on the next straight because of where that was done. Great move. Just as we see there, Wetraz, apologies, I missed that, noticed a yellow flag, I think, in sector 2-3. Goes onto the hard tyre there. That's a difficult call. It's obviously not wet enough for intermediates, but I think he had a spin, and with some wing damage there, we saw a wing change there. That's really unfortunate. Still a very long race, less than halfway through. Plenty of time to go here. So we take a look. Martin there. Does he have damage? Yeah, he does. He's missing the left end plate of his front wing there. Martin takes a spin there. Not sure what happened. Front 3 here still battling so close for the lead here. Separated by less than a second. Way less than a second. Pit window is open if those guys on the soft tyres want to take it for the hards and the mediums, but with the rain, I'm not sure where they're going to go here. Oh no, Wetraz, I think he's taken another spin there. Oh, he does, he takes another spin and he's lost his end plate. That's really unlucky. I'm not sure if he's struggling with the wet conditions. Apologies, I didn't see that one, but oh, that's tough. He's going to have to pit again. Really tough. We rejoin this fight in the lead again, of course. And we've got a safety car. We've got a safety car. This is going to totally throw the strategy out. Wow, lap 13, we've got a safety car. All the front 3 runners, they peel off into the pit straight away. They go for their pit stop. Great opportunity for a pit stop. Roy Boy now takes the race lead. He chooses not to stop. He's still got his medium tyres on, which could go a little bit longer. His teammate Matteo pits. Everybody pits except Roy Boy. And we've gone to it. Kyle has gone for intermediate tyres here. Opposite strategy to Billy. Kyle thinks it's wet enough. He's gone for the inters. Plankton thinks it's wet enough for the inters. And our 2 race leaders there have gone for opposite strategies. Wow, who is this going to pay off for? I'm not sure. Roy Boy takes, so let's recap here. So Roy Boy takes the lead of the race here. 13 laps on those medium tyres. He has not pitted. He takes the lead, but I think he's going to have to pit again no matter what. Billy can go to the end of the race. That's a tough one on those mediums, lap 14, but he can go to the end of the race. As we saw in the Tier 3 race yesterday, Nicky Rizzles, he pitted from lap 14 or 15. He went to the end of the race on mediums. P3, Nabilsk, he goes in the Williams. Again, fresh set of mediums. Oh, he takes a little detour to mow the grass there. It's a little bit wet out there. I think the rain is coming harder, you know. I think the rain is coming harder as we see Roy Boy decides to make a pit stop from the lead, so Billy takes the lead of the race here. Oh, and wow, the Bills just took a trip into the wall there. I hope he's not got damage. Kyle in P3, he's got the intermediate tyres. Plankton the intermediate tyres. The majority of the field have the intermediate tyres here. We just have 4 drivers without. Billy in P1, Nabilsk in P2. Dylan, who's just dropped. Just exchanging places a little bit here, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Dylan with the mediums P5 and Matteo P6 on the hards. Everybody on fresh tyres now. Every single driver on fresh tyres. So, all of the dry tyre guys can go to the end if it's dry enough. All the wet tyre guys, I think, can go to the end if it's wet enough. We're about to find out. Fastest lap right now held by BNLRE down in P10. New driver, of course, from us. He's had some ups and downs here. I think he had an early spin or an early crash, I'm not sure, but he's doing well right now. Great to have a new driver in the league, really great. He's in P10 right now with a point scoring position and with the fastest lap, which could stand if it stays wet, so that'd be a nice 2 points for him on his first race of Celerity, which is good to see. Let's take a look at the penalties here. So we have a few penalties today. Matteo in P6. He has a 3-second penalty, I think, for track limits. Same with P10, BNNRE, so he might lose those places. I think. Ooh, wow. Really unlucky there. He misjudged that. He went too fast. He was too close into the back of Roy Boy, I think. Takes a penalty for the hit. And he takes some front wing to good measure. That's unlucky. That's unlucky. First race with us here in Celerity, though. Still really appreciate the participation. And a final driver with penalties is Martin so far. Martin, reserve driver, back there in the racing point in last position. He's got 8 seconds, which I think is a pit lane speeding penalty and a track limits penalty. Let's go back up to the front of the grid, which is Billy. He's got control of the restart. And he also has dry tyres on. Safety car in this lap. So, the top 2 drivers on dry tyres. P3, P4 on wet tyres on inters. When does Billy go for his launch? And does he have good enough traction to keep the guys behind on inters behind him? When is he going to release? Ooh. And Billy goes. Billy's gone for it. And the guys on the inters have got a great run behind him. Absolutely brilliant run. Oh, the two guys on the dry tyres go wide. Turn 1, completely wide. The dry tyres are done. Plankton on the intermediate tyres takes the lead of the race. What a good restart by Plankton, reserve driver for us this evening. Kyle takes P2. Oh, Billy is struggling. The guys on the dry tyres are struggling. I'm sorry, boys, that wasn't the right option. But the guys on the inters have completely made the right decision here. Kyle has got great pace. Plankton leads the race, but he looks like he's in a good spot here. And we see a few spinners there. I think that's Dylan that's taken a spin there. Again, he's on dry tyres. I don't think that was the right decision there. As we see Plankton, he comes around the last corner, he's onto the main straight now. No DRS enabled, of course. As we see Kyle, he might try and take the race lead here. No, I don't think he's got enough time. We do see Martin and Kelsweg side by side. Kelsweg goes around the outside to take that position. Very nice. John Race 82, he's going for a nice good run here on that guy, on Billy on the mediums, who still stayed out on the mediums. Billy, I think you should have pitted. Those dry tyres really struggling now, really struggling. Dylan. Dylan has pitted for those intermediates. I think that's a safe choice. I think that's a good choice. Still, how many laps? 18 laps in, I think. I think we're halfway, so still a good choice to go for those medium inters. Plenty of time left. As we rejoin at the last turn now. That rain is getting so heavy. Intermediate was the good choice there. Kyle's got a good run on Plankton here. I don't think good enough. I don't think it's good enough to make a move there. Plankton takes a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings, crossing the track limits. That's unlucky. Now he's going to have to sit there with the rest of the race with that penalty. That's a shame. He's going to lose some places. Oh, and Kyle hits the back of Plankton, destroys his front end plate. What happened there? He's going to lose a huge amount of downforce there. Our P2 runner drops back into P3 now. He's got wing damage. Can he carry on there? That is a big blow for him. Oh, and he cut. Oh, and he... Kyle, I know that's a difficult choice, mate, but don't retire on track. Come on. Everybody's got a race, and now your AI's on track. It's unnecessary. Plankton keeps the lead there up front, but he keeps that time penalty, of course. And these guys still on the dry tyres. That's surprising me. Do they know something that I don't? Back up front, sorry, Roy Boy's going for a move on the outside of Plankton. Got a great run on him. He keeps the inside of turn 2. Don't cut the corner. He does cut it. They both cut it. Touching wheel to wheel there. Oh, and they're side by side. Roy Boy's got a great run on pace here. Is he going to go for a move around the outside? I think he does. Oh, Plankton pushes him, pushes the limits. Does a nice little block on Roy Boy. Gives Roy Boy a penalty here. So these guys have got the exact same amount of penalties now. Kyle rejoins the session. Hopefully Kyle's come to rejoin. He's going to retire on track, hopefully so. That's good to see. Milo is joining this battle up front there now for P3. He is very close to these boys. Milo's got a great run on Plankton here. He's going to go around the outside just like Roy Boy did, and he gets the move done much earlier. Move complete. Great move by Milo. Very clean. Milo's no penalties here, by the way, so great chance at the win. Plankton fancies to go back at him, but too far back. Plankton still does not want to give that up. Fair play. Good to see. Roy Boy out front there. Just extending his lead. Coming up to a second now for Roy Boy. Nice lead to have. Wet weather. No need to worry about DRS just yet. Still disabled. See a little bit of a drier line coming there. I think the rain might be slowing a little bit. Just got to manage these tyres now. Nurse them till the end if they go. But again, 14 laps to go. Anything can happen at Brazil. Wetras there in the Mercedes. Again going for a move on Plankton. Plankton likes that block pass. That's just on the edge there. He likes blocking there and pushing wide. Dylan there makes a move, I believe on... Johan Pitts, apologies. Johan's pitting for a new front wing there. He must have damage. Dylan riding in the points after that mistake of sticking on the dry tyres for so long. P7, solid points here right now. He's a long way behind the back of the field, 23 seconds, but as we've already seen, you know, an accident, a safety car changes a lot here. Martin here is on the back of Kelstreg. Got a good run. This is one of the best places to overtake here on this main straight into turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Tough without DRS. You got to really look after your fuel. Martin, that was, yeah. Takes a time penalty there for cutting that really obvious corner cut. That's unlucky. Question on the stream there: can Roy Boy get his penalty taken away? Because I thought he got a penalty because he got pushed wide. We'll look at it after the race. So the stewards will take a look. We've got a great steward team in Celerity eSports. They'll take a look at each individual piece of footage from today's stream and see if it's fair. It depends on the warnings he's had before, depends on any other incidents, so if Roy Boy wants to report it, we can take a look, of course. Thanks for asking. Wetras here has got a great run without DRS on Plankton. Plankton, of course, who was leading this race towards the beginning with his intermediate tyres, just has struggled for pace now. He's dropped a place to Roy Boy, place to Milo, and I think Wetras really wants this place. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that's Dylan who takes a spin. And he loses half of his front wing. That's so unlucky. And again, that's wing damage. This track is so tough for traction. It's tough in the dry with the curbs here. Very tough to control the car. In the wet, completely different story. Matteo, 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag. Wow, that is a very rare penalty. You really rarely see that in this game. And we've got a virtual safety car because of an incident that happened there. I'm wondering if something happened there between Dylan and Matteo. I'm not sure, but that was a really strange incident. Plankton's race goes from bad to worse as he takes a tyre change and a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So he's had really bad luck here today. Up to our race leader, Roy Boy, who is not having bad luck. He's made some good tyre choices. He's made some good moves. And he's in P1. Virtual safety car is open. Is ended, apologies. He's got Milo for company just behind him there. Dylan decides to retire in the pits. Fair play, mate. Thanks for retiring in the pits. That was a really tough race for you. Milo just 4 tenths within Roy Boy now, but no DRS of course. Not with the rain where we're at now. Not quite close enough to make that move on Roy Boy for the lead. Roy Boy still has his penalty to serve, and he knows that. But I think Milo wants to get this move done on track. He's 2 tenths now. All Milo has to do is bring this home. This, by the way, great news for Haas in the Constructors' Championship, who lead the Constructors 1 point clear of Ferrari. But right now, with 2 Haases in the points, just 1 Ferrari back in P8, this is really good news for the Haas boys. And up front here, not sure. And Nabilski, I think he's been lapped. And he's on a set of soft tyres, so I have no idea what Nabilski's doing back there in P10. Milo now looks like he's got a good run on Roy Boy, but again, no DRS with the intermediate tyres on right now. It does look like the conditions are getting drier out there. I think we might see some dry tyres at the end of the race. I think we are seeing some dry conditions here. Kelsrag from P4 pits for the soft tyres until the end. I think this is what Nabilski and the Williams is doing in P10. I think these conditions are getting drier. The intermediates, they might not be so good. This isn't over for the win. Definitely isn't over for the points now. 10 drivers remaining. Everybody's in the points. The question is, boys, how many points do you want? Oh yeah, that looks like a dry track right now. That's looking very dry. These guys at the front, they've got to make a pit. The gaps here now spreading out hugely. Hugely. The difference between the inters. Wow, the top 2 don't pit. That surprised me. I've got a feeling these guys are going to start to lose huge time to Wetraz. Let's take a look how far back he is. Wetraz is 25 seconds behind on a set of soft tyres. And I think he's going to be a lot faster than these guys in the lead, you know. Pit stop here, I'm not too sure. Maybe anywhere between 20 and 24 seconds at a rough guess. Wetraz is in a great position here if the boys up front struggle to find pace on these intermediates. Oh yeah, these guys are struggling for traction. They're having to take it very slow. These intermediates are done. I think it's too dry. Billy takes a 3-second time penalty back in P9 there, so poor day for Ferrari. These guys are going to have to pit. Yes, they pit. The two leaders pit, so Roy Boy and Milo pit now. They've got to come in for dry tyres. Roy Boy from the lead takes a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's ruined his race. That's a great position for Milo. But the question is, Wetras, the first guy to pit on soft tyres here, does he beat the two guys that pit for softs? Wetras is coming down the main straight now. Taking turn 1. Taking turn 2. He wants to get in front of Roy Boy, who is just coming out the pits right now. Where does Wetras come out? Oh, he's way behind. He's way behind. But he's got a good run on these guys. His tyres are warm. He's put himself in a podium position. Great move to pit early for the softs. So after that drama, that leaves us as Roy Boy in the lead with a 5-second penalty, a huge 5-second penalty for spinning the pit lane. It leaves us with Milo in P2 with no penalties right now. He's just got to nurse this home for 7 more laps. He's in a great position for the win here. And we have a Mercedes driver of Wetras who can catch these guys. If he stays within 5 seconds of Roy Boy, he can take P1, he can take P2 depending on where he finishes. It's still to play for. He's guaranteed a podium right now. We've got a yellow flag, sector 1. I think that was... Oh wow, that was Johan Race 82, who has no front wing left. I'm not sure what happened to him there. Martin and Plankton getting close there, closing up on each other on that DRS straight. Nice to see. DRS is enabled for the dry tyres right now, so Martin goes for an attack on the outside. Plank pass like he has been doing in that spot. Milo right now wants to get this P1 done on track. He wants to get it done fairly on track despite the penalties. He goes for an overtake round the outside of turn 1. He gets it done before turn 2. Great move. Great move. And Milo moves up into the first place position. Top step of the podium. No penalties right now, so he's in a great position. Roy Boy's going to stay tight to him. He stays to the back of him, but he knows he has that 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane, so Milo's in a great spot. We take a look there. We've got a McLaren. That's Plankton. Plankton has become... I think Plankton reset to track there. It's not allowed if that's the case, mate. But yeah, he obviously had an incident and came off track. He drops back to P6 there. Now Milo has himself up in an excellent position. He's in P1, no penalties. And he's out of DRS range right now, I think just. good that these boys have had the chance to go onto dry tyres at the end here. We'll have an extra point to play for. Prior to the intermediate tyres, BNLRE, a retired driver in Red Bull, was the fastest lap. Let's take a look at what we have right now. Still the fastest lap on a 109.8. I've got a feeling these boys are going to beat that on a lighter fuel load. I'm surprised we haven't beat that already. Just watching Kelstreg now chasing down Martin. Just outside of the DRS zone right now. He might make that. No, I think he's just behind by a second. Comment there on the stream from brother Adam. Good to see you watching, my friend, from tier 3 when someone resets to track the stewards. Yes, we got to look at it. I think I'm lucky I caught that one on the stream, mate. Good spot. And there we go, fastest lap from Milo. Race leader there, comfortable out in front, 108.7. Milo's got to be feeling good right now. 2 laps to go. Soft compound tyre, light fuel, 4-lap old soft tyres, no penalties. Been a great race for him. Roy Boy, just for good measure, takes a 3-second time penalty. Really unlucky for Roy Boy. Really unlucky. He's driven a solid race. Really solid race for Renault there. And he's just been unlucky with the penalties, but he's been fast. Fantastic from P8, by the way. From P8 qualifying. He's done good. Plankton takes another penalty. Again, unlucky there with the penalties. 9 seconds back down into P9 there. Sorry, P9 with 9 seconds of penalties. Roy Boy now takes 11 seconds of penalties, so this could be quite painful for Roy Boy. The gap's now starting to spread a little bit. 10 drivers on track. Everybody at least over a second and a half from each other with a couple of laps to go. Some great performances there from these drivers. From a dry to wet to dry race, there is no better race, and there is no better race than classic Brazil for that kind of weather change. Absolutely. Take a look there. Milo. How can you argue against that for driver of the day? 12 positions gained from a qualifying position of P13 on the soft tyres. That's been an awesome race. That's what you want to see. It's really what you want to see out of eSports. Same again. All credit to Roy Boy. 6 places gained. He's been very unlucky with the penalties, but very good to get himself in the position that he's in. Got a yellow flag there from Williams. I think that was Nabilsk. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's back on track. And all credit to Martin, reserve driver, P4 right now. Qualified for us in P9, so he's gained 5 positions there. Great to see. But how can you look past this guy? Milo. Qualified P13. 12 position gains. He has a little wobble. He decides to mow the grass on his last lap, and he decides to give me a heart attack on his way to winning the Brazilian Grand Prix on round 16. But he's drove a solid race. He's there on pace. He's there on merit. and he's done an unbelievable strategy and an unbelievable race. Congratulations. Milo comes across the line and he wins the Brazilian Grand Prix for Tier 2. Roy Boy comes across the line second, but he loses it with penalties. Wetraz takes it on track for P2. Good race for him there. Martin is still due to cross the line. I think he has some penalties, but I think that might be our podium finishers there. Let's see as he crosses the line. He does. Oh, and Kelstreg gets in for P4. Good finish to the end there. Mateo comes over the line for P6 right now. Good effort. And he decides to pull a stupid move over the line. That's not okay, mate. And I think Billy's celebrating here because I think Billy knows that he is the Tier 2 champion of eSports. I think he is. Congratulations, my friend. Very well deserved. Very well deserved. Our champion there, ladies and gentlemen, in the Ferrari. Billy of Celerity eSports Tier 2. Season 2. Fantastic effort from him. What a drive. Tough race for him. But right now, back to the race. Milo takes the top step of the podium and he lifts the big trophy there. Awesome race from Milo there. And he thoroughly deserves it. Congratulations to those boys on the podium. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. After a dry to wet to dry Grand Prix at Brazil, there is your grid. Milo wins with an unbelievable race along with fastest lap. He takes 26 points. Wetraz takes P2 on the podium. Well done, congratulations. Roy Boy completes it. Well done to get a podium after that race, mate. Kelstreg P4, Martin, the reserve driver, in P5. P6 is Mateo. Billy, champion of Tier 2, takes P7. Nabils takes P8. Plankton P9. Johan Race 82 takes P10, the final points. And the rest of the guys, unfortunately, took retirement after a very, very tough race. Now I'm going to get ready for the podium interviews. I'm going to invite Dylan, the leader and the host of Celerity eSports, because I would like him to give me a hand with the podium interviews. If you bear with me just a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to invite these guys into the party right now and here for some well-deserved winners. And I think I've got our winner there right now. I think I've got the winner of the race from Brazil. I think I've got Milo in the party. Hello, are you there, mate?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much for joining me. Very much appreciated. How do you feel after that race?
Yeah, it was an amazing race.
Good man.
Really, a lot of things happened. I started on... So then the strategy worked, and then I managed to pull a gap, so it was a good race.
Absolutely. So you started way back there on the softs. So you started on the softs with the dry strategy when it came to it. And then what lap did you pit for the intermediates? Maybe lap around, what, 15? I think?
Yes, I think. I just followed the rest. And then there was a safety car, so that helped. And then I came up in 7th place, so it was pretty lucky for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You say unlucky, but then I noticed you got no penalties from the rest of the race, no track limits. I noticed you stuck behind Roy Boy, which had penalties, and I thought you were going to I thought you were going to just stick behind him and take your time there, but you decided to overtake him on track.
Yeah, at one point I felt like...
It was, absolutely, mate. And also you got the fastest lap towards the end as well.
Yeah, I was really pushing, so...
No, congratulations, my friend. You drove an unbelievable race there. That, I think that's enough to seal Haas in the Constructors' Championship. I think that's going to get you guys the championship ahead of Ferrari. How do you feel?
Yeah, I don't know yet, because I think Ferrari can still win. But it's looking very good, of course.
I think mathematically they can win. But for you to finish in the points, and also Kelstreg, your teammate in P4, you guys have got a great lead there. Really good lead.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot for them to overthrow you for the final race.
Yeah, I know. And also... close the gap, I think.
You did. You closed the gap, but Billy's still doing very well there, mate. But no, congratulations. No damage, no penalties. Fantastic overtakes in that stream, mate. So, seriously, congratulations. That was so good to see. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I think, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first time for hosting the stream just solo, so I'm a little bit slow with some of the technical side of things. I'm a little bit slow in adding the podium finishes, which are very well deserved. I think, if I'm right, we've got Roy Boy in the chat.
Yes, I'm here.
Roy Boy, congratulations on your podium, mate. P3, very well deserved, very well deserved. How do you feel? How was the race for you?
It was good. I could fight for P1, but penalties screwed me over. And with the safety car, just before it started to rain, it was already raining, but the rain tires didn't work yet, and everybody pitted to rain tires the lap the safety car came out, and Jeff told me to stay out, and I needed to pit the next lap, so I dropped back to P10, but managed to get up to the front again after the restart.
I saw that. So you stayed out, you took the lead behind the safety car on the medium tyres, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, so you stayed behind.
And behind the safety car, Jeff told me go in for Inters.
And then you pitted just the first lap into the safety car, which you had to do. Roy Boy, there was a few drivers behind you that didn't pit for dries. So Kyle...
I saw them on the first lap.
Man.
They were all going everywhere.
I watched that on the stream, and when Kyle and I think Billy were leading the race, turn one, there was no traction for those guys. So I think Plankton took the lead, and you were right there behind him, and you were perfectly positioned. So I think that was a pretty good tyre strategy in the end. it was really unfortunate with the penalties. Really unfortunate. But you drove a great race.
I gave it away there. Yeah. But I also had a small other problem behind the safety car. My headset needed to recharge, so I jumped on my seat, took a recharger. But whilst doing that, I got cramp in my toes, on my right feet. So with the safety car restart, my feet was still in cramp, and I don't know how I managed to still drive, but it wasn't pleasant.
P3 in a podium with cramp. That's still a pretty good result. You've got to be proud of that. What was it like? What was it like for you? Do you prefer racing this track in the dry or the wet?
Dry is more fun because you drive faster, but wet is a challenge to keep the car in a straight line. So I like both.
Of course. Well, again, congratulations. Unlucky with the penalties, but you drove a great race. And watching the battle between you and with Kyle and with Milo, you're always up there. So it was a pleasure to watch there, mate. Really good to watch. Well done. Do we have Wetraz in the party? I'm not sure.
No, we don't.
No.
I can try to invite him.
If you can, that would be a big help. Thank you very much. Again, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. My first time hosting the podium interview, so I don't have everybody at access here for the podium interview, so thank you. Milo, while I've got you on the chat still, mate, a win, one race to go, plenty of points left in the bag for Haas. How do you feel about Mexico?
Last time at Mexico was great for me, so maybe it's gonna be tight for the championship, I hope.
I hope so. After that race, I think Billy takes the championship, so congratulations to him first of all. He's drove a great season, really great consistent season. I think he takes the championship for Ferrari there. But for the constructors, I think there's still some points left in it there. Haas have done an excellent job today of securing some solid points, which you really, really needed. I think you were quite fortunate that Billy finished a little bit lower down than he normally does, but
I think so.
I don't think that championship's quite over yet.
No, it's gonna be exciting.
Again, who was P3? Wetras or Keldy?
Wetras.
Wetras, okay. I've had him.
Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you, Roby. Just before I get away, Roy Boy, so you're back in, just out of interest, do you guys have your team sorted for next year? You don't have to say on the chat if you don't want to, but Milo, you think you're going to stay with Haas?
I don't know what's going to happen next season, so maybe, I really don't know. I'm not first Mexico, and then we'll see.
Of course. Hello, Wetras. Thank you very much for joining us. Very good to hear from you, my friend. I'm sorry for the late invite. Very sorry.
No problem.
Thank you very much for joining us on the podium, and congratulations on P2.
Thank you.
How was the race for you?
Well, it was. I don't know. It was good, but also bad at the same time for my teammate. It was just chaotic, I'd say. Didn't mean to go on the hards, and yeah.
Yeah, so what was your strategy here? What did you start your tyres on?
Well, I started on the soft tires, and then I thought like I could maybe go to I thought the rain would come a little bit later, so the plan was to go on the mediums and then just hope for the rain, but it came much earlier than we both expected, and yeah, then it was just adapting to what tire was the best.
Well, you still drove a solid race back in the wet there, really solid race, and you made up some good positions. It was the right choice to go on the intermediate tyres. During that first lap, did you overtake your teammate? Because Kyle, your teammate, he went on the dry tyres, the mediums, and after the safety car restart, turn one, he just came off the track. I didn't expect it. Did you make up positions there?
I think I actually did make up some positions, because I think some were sleeping, and also it just was I thought they were gonna be much quicker on the soft tires than I was, so or on the mediums, I don't know. But it was actually pretty good and did not expect it.
You made 3 stops. So I've got to be honest. I did not expect it either. You drove a really solid race there. Really solid race. So congratulations, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
One more race left, I think, for Tier 2 for you boys. A delayed race for Mexico. Witraz, how are you feeling about that track?
I don't know. I think that I'm pretty fast on it, but still, there's much quicker guys than me, and I gotta train for it pretty hard just to keep it going somewhat in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are 182, 192 compared to Williams. It's so close between you, Racing Point, Williams as well. So it's all to play for with one more race left. Plenty can happen. I've had a message from Dylan as well that says, Witraz, I think P2, is that your best result of the season so far?
Yes, it is actually.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to all 3 of you for joining me. And thank you very much for a good race there. It was an awesome race to watch, and I really enjoyed commentating on it, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on a Friday evening. I really enjoyed watching the boys in Tier 2. Remember that we have one more race to reschedule here, which is Mexico. We're going to reschedule that race, which we weren't able to complete earlier on in the season. So all to play for still in the Constructors' Championship. But what I will say is congratulations to our podium finishers. Milo, Witraz, Royboy, well done, boys. You drove an unbelievable race. Finally, congrats to Billy, champion of Celerity 2. You deserve it. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic weekend. Good evening and good night.